career growth with Katrina Brittingham. Get tips and advice from thought leaders from around the globe that will guide you to the next destination in your career. And now, your host, Katrina Brittingham.
Hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, your navigator on your road to success. Welcome to another episode of Career GPS, Global Positioning Strategies. I wanted to start out by saying if you are listening to me on Facebook, you can please friend me, like the video, and share your comments. If you are listening via the YouTube channel, please subscribe, hit that little bell notification so you can find out the next time we're going to have a show and get notified when the video uploads. Thank you. I wanted to come to you today to speak to you about what's going on when it comes to business and your career. As you can see, there was a lot of uproar and protest, and rightly so, with protesting from the loss of a life needlessly and recklessly by law enforcement. And so people were rightly upset about what was going on. And so the impact and the fallout from that is actually having riots and businesses being affected by what is taking place in our country right now because of inequalities and things like that. And I'm not going to get political and talk about any political things, what's right, what's wrong. I'm here to help people when it comes to their business. And when it comes to business, you have people who are no longer in business because their business has been ransacked, broken into, some burned to the ground. And this impact is widespread from large business owners to small business owners. However, if you are a small business owner, you find yourself in a unique challenge because may have already been struggling just to keep the business running on a normal day. Then we had Covid-19 come and shut your physical operations down for the time being, and some people were hoping to get back to work as the state began to open. And now you find that you have no business to go to. Some businesses were able to move online because of the type of services they provided. They could do retail online, but some businesses were really brick and mortar and needed to be brick and mortar to provide the services to clients that they needed to. So I'm here to discuss the possible ramifications of this for people to get back to work. So the first thing is, if you haven't already, cutting costs wisely. I know some people received their stimulus checks and things like that, and the paycheck protection, and was getting ready to have people come into the business. So with that in mind, you want to be able to, just reduce costs as much as you can, so that in the long term, you can get yourself back to business. So before you cut costs, you want to run through your financial projections and look to see what you need to think about growing, in this time of crisis. So every cut that you make is going to cut your ability to generate revenue or keep your business going, which is not something that you want to do necessarily for the long term, but in order to get yourself together, because now you may have a building that needs repairs. I would also check with your insurance company to see if this is covered. I know that certain insurance policies will cover fire and loss and damages. So it really takes you some time to actually look at what your insurance was and what you had covered under your insurance More retail and brick and mortar does have to have a little more extensive coverage for the possibility of loss. So check those coverages to see what is covered. You want to slowly but surely, if you are brick and mortar, to bring back employees. So if you've laid off employees and they're now collecting unemployment benefits and receiving the extra $600 a week through July as part of this federal government stimulus package, as we all know. So you can bring them back to work um, and everything because it's just time. I mean, they're just getting the extra until July, and this is actually the time as they're opening it up to try to bring back employees. They can actually, if your place was maybe just say, I'm not going to say just, but was ransacked as opposed to ransacked and burned, the employees can help you get your business back up and running where it's supposed to be. So that is something that you want to consider, is to try to see if you can have them come back to help you clean and get the business up and running. Take an inventory and stock of what you're missing, because in some cases things were completely cleaned out, and in some cases it was just, people throwing things around or maybe taking little things here and there. So if you can get an inventory of what you have and what you need, you may be able to recoup those things back. You want to revisit your business model. Some brick and mortars, as I stated, could actually do their businesses online. Some people just did not prefer to do their business online and wanted to wait it out because they wanted the face-to-face interaction. But with things that are going on now, it may be in your best interest to go virtual. You can still have your employees virtually if you do retail. So when you look at your business model, you want to think about what your business model will be when you come out of this. So take a look at it, talk to a business coach, and the business coach can help you with fleshing out that business model. Is your current business model viable for what the current climate is? So if it is, you can hang on until it is viable again. You want to consider that. Will it ever be viable again? We are moving into a time where we're already in an unprecedented time. The normal is going to be a new normal. We're not going to get back to normal the way it was prior to COVID. We're not going to get back to the way it was prior to the riots that have been going on in every city, in every state in the country. So that's something that we want to consider and look at. Are there ways that you can pivot all of your experience into a better revenue stream? This is something that business owners have to consider, even if there isn't a crisis, just to stay viable, just to stay in business, just to keep moving forward. What experiences do you have that you can go into a better income stream and revenue stream? It could be actually dismantling the current business you have and going into a whole new business. That may be something that you may be able to consider as an entrepreneur. And we have another video that I've done through High Tea with Me, which is the TV show that I do every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in businesses that you can start for under $1,000. So this business that you have that is brick and mortar may be a total loss. But does it mean that you can have to stop doing business? No, you can pivot. And it is okay to pivot. You may have been doing the same business for 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, 5 years. And trust me, as a small business owner myself, who actually just looked at what her business model was last year and had to change it prior to COVID, prior to everything coming in, and having to take that risk to step out there to change my business model. I know that it is not an easy thing to do, but it may be exactly what you need to do to survive. It may be exactly what you need to do, and that push that you need to do to take your expertise and move it over to somewhere where it can be of use to yourself, to your clients, and you never know where this loss may take you. You never know where this pivot may take you and be in a better place than you were when you were working in the brick and mortar and before the loss. I would say, if you need to talk to a therapist because change is never easy. I've done change management in a corporate setting. I've done change management pretty much all of my career because there was constant changes. The only thing that is constant in life is change, but it doesn't mean that change is easy. Loss is always a grieving process. So you may need to talk to someone to work through your pain, the loss that you're going through, and everything like that, just to regroup. Take that time, the time that you have for yourself to get yourself together so you can pick yourself back up and move. I've had to do that in my career when I decided that I wanted to move from corporate to having my own business. I was in corporate for a very, very long time, and I was feeling the push to go out into business and to do things on my own. And it was hard, and it was in the midst of, ironically, a crisis that I was going through in my life, um, and everything like that. Everything happened all at the same time. I experienced some losses. I experienced some losses of people. I had a miscarriage, and everything was just seemed like it was going wrong all at the same time. And I just sat there and I was just like, you know what? I need to talk to someone. I need to get this out, get these feelings out, and get how I feel out so I can gain some perspective on my life and decide where I want to pick up and go to next. And see, that's the thing in life. Things will happen in your life, but it's all about how you pick yourself up. This does not have to be your end. This does not have to be where the road ends for you. It just may mean that it's time for you to do something different. It is time for you to take a look at your life and find out what the next step is for you in your life. It may look like it is the end, but it does not have to be the end for you. And I didn't mean to go here with it, but that just came to me. We were talking about this diversifying your revenue, diversify your revenue stream. What do you sell? To whom do you sell to? And how will you deliver it? We were supposed to be looking at that anyway with COVID and the lockdown, and we didn't know how long businesses were going to be shut down. They started opening it up a little bit, but we didn't know what was going to happen on the other side of that. So you have to look at that. The market has changed. The market is going to continue to change, even in the midst, because with the riots and everything like that, people tended to forget about the fact that we have a global pandemic going on. You can have everyone go out, and then we can have, God forbid, another surge where the businesses will be shut down again. So, what are you doing to prepare for that? What have you done to prepare for that? Even if your business wasn't touched by the riots that were going on, other businesses around you may have been affected, and it will affect people who come into your neighborhood to shop. So you want to take a look at that. You want to consider having new vendors for your services, because even if your business reopens, and your supply chain may not reopen because they have been so greatly impacted by COVID-19 or the riots. That could require you finding new vendors altogether. And so it's a whole new cash need. Another issue is having to ship your products to customers who may not be able to come to you. You may have to incur costs for shipping or warehouse fulfillment if you want to continue to keep those customers. So, if you have customers who are used to coming into your business, you may have to absorb those costs to ship to them to keep them happy. However, if you have a model where you let them know, okay, we're going to ship this out to you, but you do have to cover the cost of shipping, customers are used to that too, because now we have to cover the cost of having food delivered. It's called a delivery fee. Guess what that is? That is a shipping fee. Um, getting their groceries delivered to them. And yes, it comes with a delivery fee. Guess what? Because I have my stuff delivered to me, and I pay that cost for delivery. And so you may have customers who are understanding of that. So you want to take a look at your pricing. Do you need to redo your pricing because shipping has to be included in it? Look at what your competitors are doing online. Because if you are going online, then your competitors will probably go online too. Case in point, if you are a clothing store or a sneaker store or a jewelry store, there are jewelry stores that are online, sneaker stores that are online, clothing stores that are online. Check their prices. Maybe your prices are a little bit different because people walk in, but most of the time they have shipping. So you might want to just take a look at that, see how much they charge for shipping and everything like that. Normally, shipping is just shipping. Like when you find out how much it costs through UPS or the United Postal Service or whatever delivery service you have in your area, then you will see that cost. So the other thing you want to do is you want to tap into local programs that they have available, if they have any. I know that there has been a backlog in it, but while many business owners have focused on federal paycheck protection and economic injury disaster loan program, other resources are available at the state and local levels. Now, again, those things have been taxed and stretched too. So you can look into it and see if there is something available, but just know that those funds are diminishing fast, and the cities and the states are starting to speak about having a deficit in the money that they have because of what they've been paying out to COVID-19. So you can look and you can go to the small Chamber of Commerce, and they help save the small businesses. And so they provide $5,000 for businesses that employ between 33 and 30 people and are located in a vulnerable area and have been affected by the coronavirus. Now, there are no grants so far regarding the riot, and I'm not sure if that is going to come into play because that was just this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I'm not sure because I have not checked the news just yet to see what the impact was on Tuesday, if there were any more riots. Sometimes you have to take a break from all of the noise that's going on just to keep your sanity. And so I chose not to look at the news when it came to that. I looked at the weather and that was it. I was really kind of burned out from all of the traumas that have been happening in the last few months. Like I said, with the death of Mr. Floyd and the backlash and I'm not going to say the backlash, the resulting um, outrage from what has happened with that situation. And so, and that's what you need to do sometimes too. Sometimes you have to come off of social media. Sometimes you have to come off and just unplug just so you can keep your sanity because the newsreels are going to keep going. Social media are going to keep going 24/7. I found myself like I kept getting messages, bling, 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 and then in between that, you had the local government sending out notices of curfews and things like that, and just the different things. And it was just so much noise, and it was so overwhelming that I just needed to take a break. Take that break. Take that break. If you need a grief counselor because of the fact that all of these things are happening and you don't know how to deal with the grief, I have someone who is awesome. Her name is Michelle Thornhill. If you need to get her information, you can type me a message and I will make sure that you get to her. She is awesome when it comes to helping people deal with grief and loss. You've had some people who have lost loved ones and friends and colleagues, not just with the riots that have been going on, because there has been loss of life with that. There's also been loss of life with COVID. She is an awesome, awesome, awesome person, and she is available online to will have virtual visits for you to speak to her. So if you need to speak to her, send me a message. I will make sure that you get her information so she can provide you with the information that you need and the counseling and the comfort that you need. I am here, like I said, to help you all the way around, not just in your business, because guess what? When personal things happen, it affects your business. When you are in crisis in your life, your business is in crisis. I have been there myself, and I have overcome that. I have overcome things because I found myself when I was going through different things in life. I didn't feel like getting up and going to work. Did I go? Yes. Was I productive? A little bit, and everything like that. But your mind, when your mind is constantly going, you don't take that break to get yourself together, to take that break to actually refresh yourself and deal with the things that are going through. Dealing with the fact, yes, I am hurting. Yes, I am in pain. Yes, what is going on is affecting you. You are going to find yourself on the other end being burned out if you do not. If you deal with those things, you can deal with those things. You can go back with a clear mind, a clear heart, a clear spirit, and do the things that you need to do. Sometimes you need to cry it out for a little bit. You know, this is a traumatic time. It's a traumatic experience for everyone in this situation. You know, went through my neighborhoods and saw the same neighborhoods that I grew up in completely tore up, completely like things burned out. And I work, in the community from day to day. And I was like, I know some of the small business owners who work hard to get that brick and mortar shop. And overnight, we had the pandemic, which shut them down. And now they're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it and trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And then it seemed like there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here's a riot that has ransacked their businesses at the best or completely burned it down to the ground. So, these things come, these things hurt. People put their time, their blood, sweat, and tears into stuff. I have talked to people to help them get to certain places, and now I see the ashes and the rubble that is left after, people had, an outrage over something that has happened to a certain a group of our country, group of people in the country, which I happen to be a part of, the African American community, who has been disenfranchised for so long, disregarded so long, and now things are coming out in ways that we never expected that they would come out. Things are coming out in ways that we never thought would happen. I talked to so many people who I said to them, I never, ever, ever thought that I would live to see something like this. I never thought that I would live to see something like this. With this pandemic, with the riots, with seeing a man just killed in broad daylight by the officers that was supposed to be protecting and serving. I never thought that I would live to see what I have seen in the last few months, and that is the real deal. And I have lived, quite a few decades, and I've never thought that I would live to see this. I never thought that this would ever, ever, ever happen. But now that we're here, we have to be able to pick up and move on. We cannot let ourselves stay stuck here. We cannot let ourselves stay stuck here. We cannot let ourselves stay stuck here. So these are the steps to pick yourself up, to keep on pressing and to keep on going on. I know you're like, Katrina, that is easy for you to say. Well, actually, it is not easy for me to say, and I know that it's easier said than done, because guess what? Even in the midst of COVID, my business was impacted too. Again, my neighborhood was impacted too, all around me. And I live in a place where I have a city here, a city there, a city there. Pretty much, I'm in a small place that I cross the street one way, I'm in one city, cross the street another way, I'm in another city, cross the street another way, I'm in another city. And in every one of those cities, there was an impact of what was going on, including in my city, but all around me. When I was driving out of my city, no matter what direction I came in, there was loss, there was destruction, there was hurt, there was pain. Because behind that hurt, behind that all of that destruction is hurt and pain and desperate need for something. We have people who have been out of work for so long, and not everyone who was out of work during this time qualified for unemployment. Let's be real about that and let's discuss that. That not everyone who was out of work during this time, during the COVID crisis, was eligible to get unemployment. For whatever reason, for whatever situation, they were not eligible. And so you had people who were hungry, who needed supplies for their children. And so you find people in desperate situations, and desperate people do desperate things. But again, like I said, I didn't come on for the political aspect. I came on to help business owners who are looking for building their businesses. For those who are looking for jobs, look online for work from home opportunities. There is a need for that. You might not want to do customer service, but guess what, honey? I've had to do things that I needed to do to pay my bills until I got myself together to where I needed to be. Again, let's look at it. We are in a new norm. I just had a virtual doctor's office appointment. I never would have thought that I would be on a screen talking to my primary care doctor via a screen versus walking into the office to get the things done that needed to get done. So we are all in a situation of the new normal and getting back to what is new. I do thank you for the time that you have given me on today. I do want to mention that I do have a book out called Why Not Me? Overcoming Insecurities to Gain Success. In that book, you will see my story, and I tell my story about how I transitioned over from working in corporate to business, the insecurities that I had to deal with along the way, getting into corporate, doing the things that I needed to do, being who I, was as, a young black woman who did not necessarily, I went up the ladder, but not necessarily where I needed to be because of certain things that happened. And you'll read about what that thing was. And moving into business after being in business and being somewhat successful in business. And I can't say somewhat, I was very successful in my business. And so you will see how, I overcame all of that to move into success and be the success that I am now. And if I had not moved and if I had not pivoted, I wouldn't be talking to you right now on this radio show. I wouldn't have the TV show that I have. I would not have impacted the lives of the people that I've impacted. And so pick up that book. It's available on Amazon right now. And also you have the conference that I am having that I am still looking at that was supposed to be in person October 30th and 31st, but I'm already looking into options and have already set up a plan for going virtual if we need to go virtual. That is the thing of pivoting. I saw that there may be a place where we needed to go virtual, and those things are being set in motion. It is to help you start a business. And as we get there, we can help you to go from your brick and mortar business to go into virtual, making that pivot. If you want it at a place right now where you need to start a business, we will help you start that business. If you need how to invest as a business owner, we have that for you too. If you're trying to be an author as a business owner, we have someone who is great. Her name is Divya Parake for our pre-conference that will help you to write a business and get a book and get a plan for marketing it to be a best-selling author. And she is a coach that is on six different countries in different continents, and she has written tons and tons and tons of best-selling books. And she has come out to show you how to do the same thing. I thank you so very much for joining me on this show on today, and you have a wonderful night.
Thank you for tuning in to Career GPS. Join us next Wednesday for more insights from career experts and thought leaders from around the globe who'll help you reach the next destination in your career. To be a guest on the show, contact us at info@ventureready.net or call us at 888-712-4956.